What rubber thickness is optimal for forehand strokes in table tennis? Are you curious about how rubber thickness affects your forehand strokes in table tennis? This is a key factor that can influence your game significantly. Let's break it down. Rubber thickness is measured in millimeters and typically ranges from 1 millimeter to 4 millimeters, which is the maximum allowed by the International Table Tennis Federation. Most players choose sponge thicknesses between 1.8 millimeters and 2.2 millimeters for their forehand side. So, how does thickness impact your play? A thicker sponge, like 2.0 millimeters or above, gives you more speed and spin potential. This is because the sponge can compress more, storing energy and releasing it during powerful strokes. Players who focus on aggressive forehand attacks usually prefer thicker sponges. On the other hand, a thinner sponge, around 1.8 millimeters or less, provides better control. This can be especially helpful for beginners or players who prioritize precision over raw power. However, thinner sponges may limit the maximum speed and spin you can generate with your forehand. For most players, a sponge thickness between 2.0 millimeters and 2.2 millimeters is often considered optimal for forehand strokes. This range strikes a balance between speed, spin, and control, making it suitable for various playing styles. Beginners might start with a slightly thinner sponge, around 1.9 millimeters, to focus on control. As their technique improves, moving to a thicker sponge can help them maximize their forehand potential. Some advanced players opt for the thickest legal sponge, often labeled as max or around 2.2 millimeters, to achieve the most power and spin. However, this requires solid technique to maintain control during play. Understanding the terms is also important. The sponge is the layer beneath the rubber top sheet that absorbs impact and influences speed and spin. The top sheet is the outer layer of the rubber that contacts the ball and creates spin. The forehand stroke is the primary attacking shot played with the front side of the paddle, usually involving a larger swing and more power than the backhand. While the general recommendation leans toward thicker sponges for forehand strokes, individual preferences and playing styles play a significant role. Offensive players benefit most from thicker sponges, while all-round or defensive players may prefer thinner options for added control. In summary, for optimal forehand performance, a rubber sponge thickness between 2.0 millimeters and 2.2 millimeters is ideal. This setup supports powerful, spinny forehand strokes while maintaining enough control for consistent play. Beginners may start thinner for control, but as skills develop, moving toward the thicker end of the range can help unlock more offensive potential.